Yeah, but the tripod gets the bots get broken before the big show.
You want to jump off? You want to jump off? I'll take I'll pass it back. So look, Mike is going to lace my leg at his outside leg. Other way, Mike. So, that's good. Then you can crush. Hey, what's up, Nando? Glad you're here. Yeah, dude, I totally spaced out. I should have brought you to gym crash. It's hard to remember every single year.
I'm so weird, like back and forth, like one side works on one like my traditional routine, I'm stronger on one this side, but this one is stronger on right, it feels that oh, I just feel it pressure. Yeah. I'm not sweating, I'm just moist.
Elbow to the chest, right?
Alright, cool. So off the same position, I like to have a bunch of different moves, right? So just in case the first one doesn't work for me, then I have a plan B to Z, right? So check this out. So we're in this collar tie position, right? Again, same setup. I get my inside hand, I get my inside grip right here. So my outside hand pummels inside, grabs his bicep, right? And when I grab his bicep, I want my thumb across his bicep, right? So now from right here, I'm pushing him, he starts pushing me back right here. What I'm gonna do is with my hand that's on his neck, I'm gonna snap his head down, and the hand that's on his arm is gonna go across his throat from right here. Do you guys see that? Now from right here, this hand that goes across his throat, yeah? So I'm from right here, boom, right, has this inside grip, push, that arm goes across his throat. This hand that's across his throat is gonna grab my forearm, and I'm gonna pinch my elbows in. When I pinch my elbows in, I push his head right underneath my chest. So from right here, all I gotta do is shoot my hips up, and he's already tapping, right? If he changes levels right here, I'll drop with him. I'll do the same thing from right here. Yeah? So, sorry.
Sorry. What do you mean sorry?
Sorry, not sorry. All right, cool. So again, we're in this collar tie position, right? My outside hand humbles towards the inside, right? I start pushing him. Now, once he starts pushing me right here, I can't stop his forward momentum, but I'm gonna just redirect it, right? Snap him down. My arm that was on his arm is going across his neck, and I grab my forearm from right here. Now, again, all I gotta do, the key right here is I don't want his head underneath my armpit. I wanna pinch my elbows in and have his head tucked in underneath my chest. So all I gotta do is shoot my hips in. Yes? So we'll go one more time and then we'll start just drilling this. Okay, this choke is called the handgun choke. So, collar tie right here, my outside arm is gonna pummel towards the bicep, right? I push him, he starts pushing me back, right? I snap him down, the hand that's on the arm goes across the throat, grab my forearm, pinch my elbows in together, shoot my hips in, and he's pretty much done most of the time from there. Yes? Do you guys have any questions for me?
So are you like figure fouring your arms?
No. So the hand that's on his head right here, right? I'm snapping him down, I'm just grabbing my forearm right here.
Okay.
Yeah? So check this out. Right here, right? And that's on his bicep, just comes across right here. Boom, and then
You're just rubbing your. Okay. Okay.
Alright, you guys need to say it one more time? No. Alright, in 3, 2, 1.
With the drum.
got a couple minutes.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna show you guys this next part of the technique, but we're not gonna get to drill it. We're just gonna move on to the next person, to the next seminar. Ooh, nah, I'm just kidding. It's pretty good. All right, guys. So check this out. Just kind of easy. So this next part isn't a submission, but a transition, back take instead. So check this out. So we're in this collar tie, right? I pump on the inside, and when I shoot from my handgun choke, this grip really isn't like the strongest grip, right? So if I don't get the move fast, he's gonna be able to break this grip easily. But if you anticipate it, right? If you're right here and you already anticipate him start fighting the grip, then you can start trying to cup his head. Once you have his head cup or his chin cup, right here, this chin strap, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull back and I'm gonna snap him down. I just want his hands down to the mat. Yeah. So from right here, the hand that's on his head, it's gonna cut across his arm, and then I'm just gonna spin that way because when he goes to grab my leg, right, I'm just redirecting that arm, and I'm taking his back from right here. Yeah. Again, I'm gonna over here. I'm in this collar tie position. I pummel inside, right. I go for my chin strap. I snap him down, right. I cut across the arm, take his back, and then again from right here, I've got a bunch of different guillotines or way more options than he has at that point, right. So without further ado, your turn. There you go.
So before I start, it's just the way to think about it is, if I could add something that's very short to Chu's thing, is you're going to be going for those chokes, and always have in your back pocket that snap down. You're going for it, if you get it quick, fuck yeah, you won. If they start, you weren't as quick with the hands, you're not as agile with the hands yet, and they start fighting it, it's not like, fuck, all right, so we start neutral. You always got that snap down because their hands are busy right here fighting. So you got to snap down, they are going to boom. You might even be able to snap down and then finish it because their hands are on the ground, right? So yeah. So anyways, guys, I'm really happy to be here. I got a lot of history with Ruben, Nay, and Wheezy. Since back in the day, back in the blue belt days too. Blue belt, purple belt days when we're all blue, purple. I think Ruben was the only one that was like a brown belt. I think, right? Maybe.
He was still purple.
Damn. Yeah. That long ago. So it was really cool, guys, to be here. I don't know why it took so long for us to be sharing actual techniques at each other's schools. And tomorrow they're gonna be heading out to Wheezy and Ruben are gonna be heading out to El Paso to share our spot. And it's really cool. I feel like this spot is I got a lot of history here too. It's really cool. Since even before this spot, I met you guys when you guys were at that other spot. That's really cool. Hell yeah. That one was 2.0?
Yeah.
This is 3.0? Oh shit.
This iteration is 4.0. 3.0
Oh yeah.
was on the other side. Yeah.
This is like 3.01.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or 2, yeah.
0.02, yeah.
Whatever.
3.5.
Now guys, how I started jiu-jitsu, one of the first things that I learned was my lockdown game. Okay, just the way when I first started, they were teaching lockdown that day, and that was one of the first things I learned. So it's the first thing that I developed, and it was the first thing that started working for me. And even to this day, when I start rolling, I'm here, and then they start passing, and then I start working my lockdown. One time there, I'm like, okay, like always, this is where I'm at. So that's my shit. And then as you start evolving and getting really good at that, your training partners start getting a lot good at the defense serious shit. Okay, so sometimes you want to think that, God, I keep getting everyone with this, just arbitrary term. I keep getting everyone with this armbar. I want to switch it up and I want to start doing this instead. Nah, let your teammates tell you that you got to switch it up now. Because if you're getting everyone with that armbar, just keep getting everyone to that armbar until they fucking learn the defense to that fucking armbar. Then they get everyone knows their defense to the armbar. They see it coming, and you're gonna get better at it too because they know the defense. And even though they see it coming, and even though they're doing the correct defense, you're still getting that fucking armbar. You become really good at that armbar, and then you're gonna have to start transitioning to add something else. Let's say the triangle, whatever. So then you start learning the triangle, and then they're all over here expecting the armbar. You're going for the triangle now, and then they get surprised with that. And then now they're expecting that, and then now it's the game of like transitioning from one to the other and back and forth. And then you add the third one, and stuff like that. That's how it starts evolving, and you guys all start evolving together as a team. Your teammates are the ones that are going to be telling you that you got to move on to something different when you guys are free rolling, and then they're like, your shit's not working anymore. You know, they're like, fuck. Damn, now you're like, damn, now I gotta learn something different, you know? Should be excited, but it's kind of like, oh shit, my shit's not working anymore. It's not that fun anymore. I'm not winning as much because of that. So that happened to me. I was getting my lockdown all the time on everybody, and then I still kind of do, right? But I had to learn something else. So then I was doing my mini stomp shit, because people weren't just trying to pass my guard like this anymore, because I was getting the lockdown. They got smarter and they started putting that foot up and going this way. And then they were being really, really heavy, and then I started doing my mini stomp from there, and then I started beating them to it, and when they would be trying to step, then I started going De La Hiva, spiral guard, and all that shit. And that's where I'm going to go into now. So, come here, Joe. So someone's trying to pass your guard like this. So you're in, this is spiral, right? Is it spiral? Yeah, it's spiral. So you're in spiral guard, put that leg down. So you're here in spiral guard. You're controlling. The first thing what I started to do is base on here. Sometimes you don't, I mean, not always do you have to base on here, but you're going to get onto the other side. You're going to get into De La Hiva. And put this hook in here. This is the most important one. This is the one, if you don't get this, if this is like half-assed, you're not going to get shit. You got to get this one nice and deep. Just watch out with them attacking your leg here, because that's common. But if they start going for it, you just bring your knee in, and once your knee's out, that's good. So for me in leg lock, guys, I struggled really a lot in the leg lock game because I didn't understand it. I was scared of it, and then just right away tapping, or just like you don't know how deep you are. You don't know how to escape. You think it's about getting your whole leg out, until I learned and had the connection with the armbar. You know how in the armbar, as soon as you get your elbow out, 99% of the time you're out. Same thing for me in the leg locks. What made me take a big, huge leap in my leg lock game was I just had to get my knee out. So if your knee's out of a leg lock, 99% of the time, it's not 100% of the time, right? Because, I mean, we've seen, like, when Boogie went against, what's his name, the Australian guy, I forget, against Craig Jones, his knee was not there, and he still fucking got leg locked, right? Well, it's still leg lock. Your Achilles is what? Still a freaking leg lock, bro. And that's it's a Kyle Terrell one, not Craig Jones, guys. Make sure you give the credit where it's due. So anyways, that's what made me take my leg lock game to the next level. And if I could tell you guys anything more about the leg lock game is, which I'm not gonna go really deep into it, just what made me get my leg lock game, and it made it more simple for me, is getting my knee out, but not just getting your knee out and then being like, oh, I need to keep going and get out. Just work on getting your knee out, but staying in there for a little bit. And then you're able to kind of like mess around with it. Kind of be like, okay, what is he trying to do? Okay, now I could try to counter and stuff like that. Just like that with those boxers. Instead of staying away, like Wonderboy Thompson the whole time, staying out of range the whole time, then you're like not doing anything, being the guy that's inside, and then like countering when they're inside, right? Because it's giving you an opportunity. So here we go. I went off a little bit. So we're here, facing. Here, controlling the heel, facing, and then this one's going backwards for me, right here. Okay? Now this hand is gonna go all the way and grab at the thigh or hip. We're here, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna end up here. This is where I end up. Double outside Austria, right? Then from here, I'm not gonna go deep into leg locks. I'm sure there's some badass leg lockers here. Just regular yoke. If you're on this side, obviously you. So another rule that I learned, not necessarily. And that's how you actually start learning. So same thing with this shit. Fail hard, right? Just go for it, you know, and do it with confidence. Even though it's not true, you're not confident and you don't really know the move, do it with confidence. Mentally be like, all right, here we go. Put yourself in that scenario that you're in a match and you're here and then you're like, all right, here we go. Oh, what's up? And then you're gonna do it. Like with confidence, and then boom, it'll land, and then you could act surprised after that if you want. Like, holy shit, what the hell is that? But when you're doing it, Do it with confidence and fail hard. Don't worry. Don't try to learn it. Yes, dissect it at first a couple times, but once you dissect it and done, sometimes then be like, all right, I'm not going to go slow anymore. I'm going to try this approach and just try it fast a few times, and then maybe you might have to go back to slow and, dissect some details when the coach comes. Like, okay, wait, so what am I doing? They'll notice you're doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. Here, fix this a little bit, and then you could go slow, and then you dissect that here, and then now I just backhand here. Same thing. Back into this double outside ash. 50-50. Okay, wait. So double outside ashi would be here? Or my bad.
Outside ashi.
My bad. Thank you.
I'm 56 too. I like that. I was like, I want to learn that the first one.
Nah, bro. It's complicated. So, yeah, it's 50-50. This is where I get to say this. It's 50-50, right? Quote unquote. But I like to call it maybe like 60-40. Because you kind of have momentum behind you, and he's kind of like falling back in a sense. And you're kind of already here, boom, sitting up. So it's not 50-50 would be if we're both like neutral here, and then like ready, go, boom, then that's 50-50. But if he's like falling like this, and then you're already in that position, it's not really 50-50. It's more like 60-40. All right, Ruben? So you guys in the honey hole. You're here on your side, right? Because you're like, fuck. Boom. Like, and remember, just your knee. Just your knee. So if you want, when you guys are free rolling, just get your knee out and then try. Let's see, Chewy, what you do here. Oh shit, hold on, I don't know if I want to do that. Go.
I'd be trying to get that knee line back.
He'd be trying to get the knee back maybe. But if you went for like leg locks here now, not really. And maybe he could, if I stayed here with that knee there, he could finish me. But then now I have more mobility to be able to roll with it and like trying to get out once that knee's out. Okay, here we go again. My bad, I'm running out of time. So boom. Now this hand that's right here close to the mat, you're going to backhand on that heel just like I showed before. This shin is going to go against his belt line. You're going to hug behind over there, and then you're going to tuck this knee in afterwards to bring it all the way to the other side to 60-40. Okay, boom. You could even help yourself with this hand and grab at this leg to make him fall. As soon as he falls, look at this is what I meant right here. The leg all the way to this side, boom. And look see he's on his flat on his back and you're here. 60-40 here. Then to your high five. That was sick. Hope you guys got that. Boom, boom. One more time so you guys get it. Put some reps in. Bam. You guys got it? On 3. Ready? 1, 2. All right, guys. So pretty much that's it for us El Paso guys. That's all we have time to share with you guys. Really appreciate you guys coming out here. You guys are all always welcome in El Paso. If you guys ever driving through, please stop by. Except this guy. I'm just playing. You guys always stop by, guys. We have people stopping by often from other 10 planets, and it's so freaking badass. So freaking badass, huh? 2 locations. Yeah, so we have 2 locations now. We opened East Side and West Side. Our East Side spot is our original spot, so it's a lot bigger right now. West Side is still, you know, project that we just got off the floor 2 weeks ago. We just started. We had a soft opening 2 weeks ago. But if you guys are in town, like I said, please stop by. I would really appreciate it. You guys go in there and share your fingerprint to jiu-jitsu, right? Just mix it in with our shit and just see what we learn from you guys and you guys learn from us. So up next, one of the guys that made this whole thing possible, this whole journey possible, is Sean from CBD. So he wants to talk to you guys.
My name is Sean Lermo with Our Life CBD. Myself, how I kind of got into this, I do jiu-jitsu myself. About 9 months into me training, I messed up my knee, my ACL. I had an ACL cadaver. I had a cadaver put in my ACL. During the recovery of that surgery, I kind of realized I'm 43. When I had my surgery, I was 41. So I got kind of a little bit scared about the recovery. And what they told me, the doctors told me, and this is coming from my own doctor and my physical therapist, they're like, hey, take a pill right before you go to physical therapy. Your physical therapy is the hardest recovery. So take a Vicodin and it'll get you through. What I realized for me is that made me feel like a zombie. So, I mean, I have kids. I want to be able to interact and have some kind of a functional life. So, started using some of the CBD products, and I found that some of the issues that I found were just that I felt the good icy hot, but I wasn't really feeling the anti-inflammatory benefit. When the problem with a lot of stuff on the market is they're gearing it, big companies are gearing it out there to the average person to kind of let them try CBD, but the problem is they're associating a tingly feeling of a menthol or we all know icy hot works, right? It'll give you a little bit of a tingly feeling. What they're doing is taking icy hot, sprinkle a little bit of CBD in it, and kind of people are thinking the icy hot feeling is the CBD or the benefit of the anti-inflammation that CBD gives. When in actuality, there's not enough CBD in most of those products. In our topicals, we have 1,500 milligrams in a 2-ounce jar, which is pretty much triple. There's some out there with 250 milligrams, but the higher ones are about 500, so we're pretty much triple the amount of CBD in one of those topicals. What that allows us to do is actually treat the inflammation. So we have 2 different types of topicals. We have one that's a menthol and one that's a citrus. Both of them the same amount of CBD, but what's going to happen when you feel them, the menthol one in about 15-30 seconds, you'll start feeling the icy hot feeling. It'll take about 15 minutes for the actual CBD to kick in, and it should dull some of the pain. And that's what we're really looking for. By utilizing the topicals and actually the tinctures, we have a 3,000 milligram tincture also. By utilizing both of those, it helped me get back to jiu-jitsu and actually start training within 5 months, and did my first competition after 9 months. So I was pretty stoked to be able to do that. And one of the other driving forces is keeping up. I have 3 boys, so my kids are getting better every day, and I want to make sure that I don't get beat up too bad. So I got to kind of keep up with them. The other big thing about CBD is not all CBD is the same. One of the things that we're from California, a lot of people are buying from distributors out there. The problem with buying from a distributor, I can get a cheaper price, I could save money, but the problem is I don't know what's in that CBD. So what we do is every bit of CBD we buy, we purchase it all from one farm. We sole source it from a farm in Pueblo, Colorado called Shy Farms. We feel that's important to have that transparency. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but once again, we know where it comes from. Another thing is we use what's called a CBD isolate. So if you guys have jobs or work for the police department, fire department, whatever, because we have a bunch of guys over there in California that do, they all use our product. By using an isolate, when we get our product from Colorado, we get it tested 99.64% CBD with 0 THC. We test it again when we get it back into California, and then we actually we manufacture our products with all organic ingredients, and we custom formulated every one of our products. So that's very important to me, because when I was looking on the market, and you can look on the market, a lot of the stuff that you'll see is very similar in milligrams, and the reason why there's about 10, 12 big manufacturers, and then what they do is a private label for everybody. So if you want to create a CBD company, I'll give you the blueprint. All you do is create an LLC, create a label, and have these guys put the label on your products and ship it out. The problem is you're going to have the same crap that everybody else has. So for us, I took 9 months of R&D to figure out you know, all the right ingredients we wanted to put in our products to ensure that they work properly. And the other thing is, since I do jiu-jitsu and I roll, I'm rolling with the guys that I just gave the product to, so I can't be BSing anybody. You know, in jiu-jitsu is a little more of, you know, there's a lot more people being honest and real. There's no BS with it, you know, because if I'm rolling with you tomorrow and I told you it worked, I know it, whether you know whether it worked or not. So that's the beauty. We've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of different people, a lot of different gyms that have tried a lot of other CBDs that said this is the first one that actually worked. You know, and some people that said that they didn't really believe in CBD anymore because they had tried other CBDs and kind of felt it was kind of a, you know, it didn't work for them. So I suggest all you guys today, we have samples over there. I would love to get you guys to try all of them. We have tinctures that I'll give you guys all samples of. Also, either the topicals and some massage oils. It will be really cool too. We did do the free seminar for everybody. If you could support all of us, it would really help out. We do have the Our Life CBD tour shirts like Dondo's wearing. We also have Jiu-Jitsu Our Life CBD Sleep Repeat shirts. Those are all $20. All our products are 25% off today. So, you know, you can get a discount there too. If you have any other questions about it, feel free to ask. I do want to tell you a little bit about CBD so people understand. One of the biggest things that I think people need to understand about CBD are the difference between cannabis-based CBD and hemp-based CBD. A lot of people don't understand that because when people hear CBD, they're not sure how to associate it. Because truthfully, there is cannabis-based CBD and there's hemp-based CBD. Now, the difference between the two, there's a demarcation point between cannabis and hemp. What that is everybody knows that what gets you high is THC, right? So if any product, if any plant has less than 1/3 of 1% of THC, it goes into a different category and becomes industrial hemp. And that's what we start out with and what we use. Now, if it has 0.4%, you know, instead of 0.03, 0.04, even that's very little THC, that has to be sold at a dispensary instead of a smoke shop or in places like this. That's a demarcation point. I like to describe it as like two apples, right? If you have two apples, you have a red and a green apple. They're both apples, but they both have different nutrients and they both have different flavors, right? So if you look at cannabis and hemp, it's the exact same plant, but they have different properties. So basically, the hemp having the less THC, 1/3 of 1% of THC, and then the cannabis having more. So that's a real easy way to kind of associate it. So the first question when people ask, or when you ask about CBD, the first thing you should ask is, where is the CBD derived from? Is it cannabis-based? Am I going to have to worry about, you know, being tested, or does it have THC in it, or is it hemp-based? And then the second thing, and the last thing I do want to go over, we do have all isolate-based. Like I said, there's no THC in it whatsoever. And the reason why we chose to go that route, because you can still buy a hemp-based tincture product or a CBD oil product and take that sublingually under your tongue daily. Problem if you use a full spectrum, it still is hemp, less than the 1/3 of 1%. But THC has a tendency to attach itself to our fat cells. So it would last a little longer than most of you, right? So if I took a tincture every day, twice a day, a full spectrum, by the end of the month, there's a potential chance if I did get a test that I could test dirty. And that's why we choose not to use the full spectrum. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, if you don't, I mean, full spectrum is better because you're getting all the cannabinoids, but we chose to go that route because most people want to maintain their jobs, or if you're in some type of competition, we sponsor a bunch of fighters. We're even working with a few Olympic softball players and some Paralympic athletes. So we're really trying to just get out there and people who really have a need and train hard, trying to give them a solution. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask now, or you can come up and ask at the end. And please come by and buy a t-shirt. They're $20. And then also get a sample of any of our products. And we can also get you set up if you need anything from here on out. We can definitely get you set up, and we're talking about maybe working something out in the future for Albuquerque, so you guys might have access over there at your gym to the products too. So, any other questions? You guys have any questions?
Any of the Olympic athletes or any of the professional athletes that take your product, have any of them been tested since they started taking it?
Yeah, nobody's tested dirty. The other thing, what's more important, I mean, not more important, the Olympic athletes are big, but more important for me kind of is the people that I deal with on a daily basis. All my buddies who are cops and first responders who use my product, and I see them every day. That I know that I'm good. Because otherwise, I mean, last thing I want to do is one of my buddies lose his job because he could have taken Advil instead of CBD. Yeah. But I convinced him to take CBD, and now he loses his job. So that's why it's so important for me. Once again, that's why I refuse to buy from a distributor. It's not worth it for me to save a couple $100 to risk one of my buddy's jobs. That's the way I look at it. I mean, and since like I said, I have my touch. Everything you're going to try, I've actually personally made and we formulated. So that's another thing that's important to me is I know what's in it, and we're not half-stepping anything. Give you a perspective. We talked about having the strongest topicals, right? So we have 1,500 milligrams is what we put on our jar for a 2-ounce jar. The last time we got it tested at 1,845. And we have test results to prove it because I'm putting more in there. Because once again, if I'm looking at it from the perspective, if I was taking it, I want to have more medicine in there rather than skimping me 10%, give me 10% more. And that's how I look at it. And hopefully everybody has, appreciates that. So anybody else with any other questions? Cool. Well, come by and try it, and please buy some shirts. All right. I want to say one more thing. I do want to thank all our other sponsors. So obviously, I know Our Life CV kind of put this together, but it wouldn't have happened without all the other sponsors and all the people in this room, all the guys. Some of the other sponsors are Bodycore. We also Cauliflower Nation. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Gym Crashers, Massage Matters. And then Black Belt Print Company, they helped us print out the shirts, which is awesome. They did a really quick turnaround for us, just so we had some shirts for the tour. So I really appreciate all of them. But like I said, without them, man, we wouldn't be here. It's a collective effort of getting a group of good people together and to put one of these tours together. And the great thing, it's been very successful. We're very ecstatic about doing another one and keep this thing going, man. So hopefully it won't be long before we come back. All right, thank you guys.
All right, guys. Next up, I just want to spend a couple hours polishing the warm-ups. Just kidding. One more seminar. The man doesn't need any introduction. He is the man of the hour, the most handsome guy in every room he ever goes in. First degree, 10th Planet Black Belt under Eddie Bravo. You last saw him in CJJ. Demolishing dudes. Before that, fought DJ Jackson. Before that, he tapped 4 dudes to win the qualifiers. Ruben Rivera.
I was waiting for like the John Cena music to start playing, and then like fireworks coming out of the door, like the entrance. Damn, dude! I thought you were the fireworks guy. What do they call those? The pyrotechnics. What? Pyrotechnics.
We had a meeting about this and everything, Vince.
You're right. I got it. Are you standing here because you're gonna be my uke?
I mean, you want me?
No, I do. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed Chris and Chewy's seminar. Super cool stuff, man. I was like looking at that. I think the coolest part about Chewy's high elbow guillotine or marcellitine is that leg entanglement he does. That's powerful. That's crazy. I've never seen anybody do that before. And then Kito's honey hole escape to the 50-50. That's powerful too. I'm gonna add that into my game. 60-40. You know, there's all kinds. There's like 70-30. There's 38. Yeah, dude. Yeah. 61-39. I don't know. Anyway. All right. So I don't have a lot of time. Obviously, these guys didn't have a lot of time to share a whole lot with you guys. So I'm going to share kind of some of my personal philosophies that I've picked up through my experience. And then I'm going to show you guys some techniques, but not a lot. There's not going to be a lot, unfortunately, because like I said, not a lot of time. But I'll start by saying that if you intend on being a competitor, if you intend on being decently good at jiu-jitsu, you need to have a good front headlock game. You must have a good front headlock game. When we say front headlock, we're talking about a whole system. Basically, anytime that head is under your armpit, that's a headlock. Doesn't matter what variation it is, whether you got arm in, you got a high elbow, you got a low elbow, you got a power guillotine. What doesn't matter what variation you're using, it's all front headlock stuff, right? So it's a whole system, and it's super important. Even wrestlers, like you can get by in high school wrestling with a good double leg, with good ankle picks, whatever. But at the collegiate level, from what I understand, you got to have a good front headlock, because guess what? It's really hard to double leg a collegiate wrestler, right? So most likely you're going to be trying to stuff things, take front head, so on and so forth. And in my experience, so I didn't wrestle. I'll give you guys a little background. I never wrestled, not in high school. I wish I would have now, but I didn't. But that's never discouraged me from standing up and grappling with people, because I learned early on that what good does it do me to be a shark, a black belt on the mat if I can't get people down on the mat. You see what I mean? And so it's like, if you're only good on the floor, you're like a half a grappler to me. You see? You only know one half. You got to know how to do the standing part. You have to. You have to. Or else you're kind of learning like a kind of, I don't know, not a realistic martial art then, right? Because in real life, what are you going to do? Say you get into an altercation with somebody, physical altercation, you're going to sit down to your butt? You're going to be like, you know, like it's just not going to happen, right? So anyways, we don't have a lot of time for me to show you guys entries. I'm not going to show you how to get into them. We don't have space anyways to be wrestling and snapping each other down a whole lot. But I'll show you guys some control mechanics, and then I'll show you guys some finishes that have been very helpful to me. And what's really cool about the front headlock system, guys, it's not a great form of control. It isn't. It isn't. It's not like the best kind of way to control somebody. But it's a start. It's like the beginning of something that can be better. Right? Because you can transition there to the back, and the back, of course, is the ultimate form of control in grappling, right? But it's a start. It's not great. It's a start. There's still a lot of danger. They can get reversed on you. You could get taken down. There's still a lot of danger, but it's a start. Anytime you can pop somebody's head under your chest, under your armpit, you should treat it like it's gold. You're like, I just stumbled upon gold. Like, I got to hold on to this. I'm going to either finish here, or I'm going to end up rolling the guy over, getting the side control, getting the mount, taking the back. Something's going to come of this, but it's a start. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, I'll borrow you, Nate. Although this might not be good for you. So I'll have you start in all fours, and I say that because like Nate's got big shoulders, and he's probably gonna choke easy with this one. Right? So we're gonna start in a front head, guys, and you know, there's there's a lot of variations of this, right? But usually, if I can get this deep, where he's already on all fours, he's turtled up, I'm gonna grab his chin, I'm gonna start controlling this elbow, okay? And we're still kind of in the mindset that maybe he's trying to get up, or he's trying to grab my leg still, you know, yeah, we're like in these kinds of battles, right? So come back down, because if he tucks his elbows inside his thighs, he's basically just asking me to start working towards his back, right? I have no. There's no reason for me to do any front headlock stuff unless I'm really adamant on trying to strangle him. But if a guy tucks in, it's like he's just begging me to come around, hit a go behind, and start moving him around, trying to get my hooks and so on and so forth. So this idea is based on a guy who is fighting you. You try to go to the back, and he's blocking your arms, and you're in this battle, right? So the first thing I'm going to try to accomplish, guys, and I'll rotate you this way, Nate, yeah, right there. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to gable grip my hands together, okay? And there is a specific way to do it. The outside hand is going to come from underneath. So it's going to come underneath, and you're going to gable grip your hands here. And what I want to do is I want to take my gable grip into his armpit. And notice how as I bring it to his armpit, I'm also going to start tucking his elbow in, okay? The Schultz brothers in wrestling were famous for this, and we ended up just calling it the Schultz strangle, because even though strangling people is illegal in wrestling, it would happen all the time. And I'll show you guys why it happens all the time in wrestling, even when you're not attempting to strangle people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this clamp, this kind of vice grip thing, and I'm going to start pulling his elbow across. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my head in and act like I want to roll him. Now, if he rolls, that's great for me, but we're going to say he's a wrestler and he doesn't want to roll. Now, why wouldn't he want to roll? Because in the sport of wrestling, if you get rolled, you get a point scored on you. 1 point. So they don't want to roll. They don't want to get a point scored on them, so they stay on their knees and elbows. Well, that's when we choke them. Okay? So I tuck his arm in, I get my head in, and I'm trying to roll him, and he doesn't want to. You guys see that? But it doesn't have to happen that quickly. In fact, it doesn't usually happen that quickly. I'm sorry, Nate. Really yeah, I told you. It's powerful. I knew. I was like, Nate's not the guy. He's got his shoulders are going to work against him. But it's very powerful. But you have to understand that it only works when people don't want to roll. Now, if they do roll, we got something for them. But right now, when you're drilling with your partner, I want you to like pretend like you're a hard-headed wrestler that's like, nope, not gonna roll, not gonna roll. And that's when the choke becomes the most powerful. And the person applying the Schultz choke, I want you guys to act like you want to roll them over, but don't roll all the way over. Stay like in that in-between, like half rotation. Like if you know you're gonna do a full rotation, right? You know you're gonna go from being belly down, full rotation, all the way belly down again, right? Well, we're not gonna do that. We're pretty much just gonna go belly up. We're gonna place our head inside, so we're gonna stay belly up here, right? And I'm gonna act like I'm trying to roll him. He's fighting back, and I just keep squeezing here. I find that pressure with Vince. I gotta get a little tighter, right? I find that pressure. I'm trying to roll him. With him, I might not be able to Schultz choke him. You know, it's not getting tight. I don't feel like it's working. Well, with him, I would roll him. And for those of you guys who've been training for a while, you might see what's coming up next, right? But that's pretty much the Schultz choke right there. One more time. I'm going to get my hand in. I'm in a front head. Obviously, I'm going to be on my toes while I'm fighting him. Once I find a break, I'm going to grable grip my hands, and I'm going to start to try to Schultz choke him in. Don't roll. So for you guys over here, front head, gable grip, bring that arm across. You can kind of tiptoe to that side a little bit. Notice how I get my head inside the hole, inside his knee, inside his arm here, and then I start, notice how far my elbows are from my hips? That's never good. So as I roll, I'm pulling everything in. I'm pulling his head in, and I'm trying to hold him here. Why'd you roll? Keeps rolling.
You're not supposed to.
Remember?
Yes.
Vince doesn't have enough shoulders.
Guys, on 2 on 2.
Should have left me with Nate.
But you'll get more reps into it. So I was telling some of you guys that it's not going to work on everyone. Like, at least in my experience, usually when I know I have it, I know I have it like right off the bat. Like as soon as I lock it in and I start threatening to roll, I feel like I can just feel it when I have it. And then sometimes I like with Vince, I knew I didn't have it from the beginning. You know, and there's just certain guys. Certain guys you're gonna be able to strangle easier than other ones, but it's okay. In Vince's case, I would have to take him to tier 2. That was tier 1. Check that tier 1 choke. It didn't work. Okay, let's take him to this tier 2 choke. Okay, all right. So I have him in the Schultz, right? I'm trying to roll him over. He's not rolling, so I'm gonna get under him and force him to roll. After he rolls, I'm gonna bring both my legs up to this side. Okay, both legs come up. I don't want you to think like you're putting his arm between your legs, because you're not. You're bringing both legs up. And once they're up, you're gonna split them like this. And you're gonna drop with weight over his elbow. Sorry, guys. You're gonna drop with weight over his elbow. So he might be trying to flare that elbow out to prevent me from strangling him. That's why I'm gonna flare and watch my feet, guys, so I don't kick you. I'm gonna drop hard on that elbow, okay, Vince? I'm gonna drop hard. And at the same time, I start pulling my gable grip up high. Now I'm gonna lock my figure 4. So from the leg on the elbow, I'm gonna lock the figure 4. I'm gonna start crawling my hands up tight. I'm gonna start walking towards him. Now he's probably gonna start walking away from me. So go ahead, walk. I'm gonna start twisting down towards the ground as I squeeze. Finish the anaconda.
Elbow down?
Yeah, so it's almost like when I say I'm rotating, it's almost like I'm thinking that I'm trying to force him back to his knees. Like I'm rotating that squeeze, that anaconda, that figure 4. I'm rotating it like I'm trying to force him to get back onto his knees. But the way that he's placed, it's actually kind of hard for him to do as I'm walking towards him. But that adds a lot of pressure, that rotational squeeze. So one more time. I feel the elevation too, by the way. I go for the Schultz. I'm trying to strangle him. It's not working. So I start getting under, rolling him over. When he rolls over, I bring my legs up, split, lock that down. That allows me also, when I punch this, I kind of bring my strangle arm tighter to his neck. Then from here, guys, a lot of people want to go like this. They shoot this arm like this. Well, he's going to grab it, and you're never going to be able to figure 4. So what you need to do is uppercut yourself in the chin, like this. You see that? So I never make my arm long so that he can grab it. I go from the gable grip straight to my chin. And then I lock, and I start to walk. And as he starts fighting me, trying to get away from me, I just start rotating it slightly towards the ground like I'm trying to finish or roll him up to his knees until I get that squeeze. And some guys, you're going to be there for a little bit. So don't squeeze yourself out. Use like 50% of your strength, okay? Don't use 100, because some guys are going to take a little longer. Like if this was Nate, I'd probably get him in a couple of seconds. Just because he's got so much more muscle on his shoulders, it's easier, you know, because these are shoulder holds. You have to understand that what we're trying to strangle him with is his own shoulder. One side is being, I'm getting the carotid with my bicep, but the other side, I'm using his own shoulder to strangle him. Does that make sense? So that's kind of why people with broader shoulders are easier to strangle. So, you know, some things are easier on certain guys and some things are more difficult on other guys, and that's just the way it is, right? You're like, it's like having a bunch of keys, like a janitor or something, and you're just trying different keys on, trying to figure out which key works, you know? It's like, that's what Jiu-Jitsu is. So, one more time. We attempt to apply the Schultz. It's not working. I roll him over, up, split, lock, and I immediately start walking 50%. Maybe start increasing a little bit, start increasing a little more. It's so hard to choke. Let's do it on 2 and 2. You're not always going to be able to collapse that elbow. I'm not going to use you. Get out of here. No, actually, you know what? I will use you. Let me see. Maybe I could get you with this one.
Put him out.
You gotta be mean with Vince. You gotta like fist choke him, like fist in the throat and just.
What an animal.
The fist, the punch choke. You can use it in a lot of different places, like triangles, for example. Say you have a guy who's like not wanting to tap, well, you just put your fist and you just start bending it in there. It's kind of dirty. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing it to your friends. Okay, so you're not always going to be able to collapse this elbow. You try, and guys flare it, they connect their hands, they do all kinds of creative stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch our grip from a gable grip to an elbow-to-elbow grip. From gable to elbow, okay? So we're at the gable, we're trying to break that elbow down, he's being brave. Okay, elbow to elbow then. Notice how I just slid my arm in. This time I'm going to use this elbow-to-elbow grip to, instead of trying to collapse his elbow inward, I'm going to pull it towards me. And then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll through the same way. I hope he rolls. If he doesn't, don't roll. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that same elbow-to-elbow grip, and I'm just going to pull this hand through tight. Same thing, right? Now from here, look, just a switcheroo of the hands if I need to, because I can't go to a figure four from here, right? You guys see that? So just a little switch to the figure four, and I start walking it just the same. Get him with that one. So you're not always going to be able to collapse that elbow, okay? So when you can't collapse it, and you guys are getting, real brave, elbow to elbow, use this elbow to elbow grip, pull his elbow away from him, roll. If he rolls, well, you already know what to do. Same thing, right? If he doesn't roll, because he wants to be, then we're going to, watch what I'm going to do. Like, I'm actually going to switch to a ball and socket grip as I pull. So as my arms are sliding into place, I switch to a ball and socket grip to pull. And then from the ball and socket grip, I do a little, some Wing Chun here. You guys see that? That was sick, right? It was just like, I feel like I could snap his neck with that one. That one's tight, huh? Yeah. One more time. Do the Wing Chun. Oh, the Wing Chun? So I can't collapse it. Okay, pull it, roll, right here. Ball and socket. I use that ball and socket. It's kind of a wrist to wrist, I guess, too. It can be. And then what I do is I just take the top hand and I circle it in. Circle it in, grab my own bicep, and watch how as I'm grabbing my own bicep, I'm already walking towards him. The reason is if I lock the figure four here, I can never get to the ball of his shoulder. Right? I can never grab that top of his shoulder. So when I'm going to switch to that figure four, from the ball and socket, I switch to the figure four, I start walking to him immediately so that I can grab the topmost part of his shoulder. That's going to make it super tight. If I'm down his back, I'm being nice to him. This hand needs to crawl as high up as I can. I need to get my body out of the way so I can grab real high. And he already feels the pressure. I'm going to finish him right here. I'm not even squeezing. I'm squeezing like 15% right now. When you feel it, when you got it, So let's try that one. Elbow to elbow. I switch to an elbow to elbow grip. I pull his elbow out. I act like I'm going to do a Schultz roll or an Olympic roll. The Olympic roll fails, so I pull it all tight, ball and socket, do a little Wing Chun here, figure four, walk it in, finish the job. Let's do it on 2 and 2. Yes. So, you guys have to understand that in every choke hold, every strangle, there's always going to be a primary strangulation arm and an auxiliary arm. Auxiliary meaning like a helper arm, right? So in this case, it's pretty obvious which one's the primary and which one's the auxiliary, right? But remember, when I go to roll, there's a transition here. Right now, my left arm is the primary strangulation arm. If I was going to do a Schultz choke, my left arm is doing the majority of the strangulation. But when I make this switch, when I roll, as he resists, go ahead and resist the roll, he makes it easier for me to switch strangulation arms. Now my right arm is the primary strangulation arm. So this arm needs to be vacuum sealed tight to his neck. The tighter, the better. Does that make sense? So you guys need to make a transition from your left arm being the primary strangulation arm to the right arm being the primary strangulation arm, and then you can start locking up your figure four, walking it in, finishing the strangle. You guys understand? So it needs to be a very clean transition. Anytime you're trying to choke somebody, it's pretty obvious, right? You need to get your arm as tight around the neck as you can. But there's a switch here, from left to right, or from right to left, depending on what side you're on. Understood? Let's do it on 2, 1, 2. I just do that to my students back home. I do a little clap. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody wants to ask a question? You guys all got it? You guys are experts? Yes, sir. I know, it's funky. I figured you guys would ask about that one. Vince, can I borrow you? Yeah. I know, we're all borrowing him, right? Vince, hold the tripod. Vince, be the Uki. Vince. He's like, use firecrackers. So, from the Schultz, right? I tell these guys, like, in the Schultz, the primary strangle arm is always on top. So because my left arm in this context is the primary choking arm, I want that one on top. And then I want the auxiliary arm to come in from underneath. If I take that same Schultz grip or Gable grip and I just slide my hands to my elbows, that's the next grip. Okay, this elbow to elbow grip. So from the Gable to the elbow to elbow. But this can throw you off if maybe you started wrong. Does that make sense? Maybe if you started with the primary strangle arm down, upward like this, then it's going to throw you off. It's going to feel funny. Does that make sense? So from here to here. Okay? And I'll show you guys the next sequence. So that's the first thing. We got to all be on the same grippage, because if you guys are doing the primary strangle arm up, it's going to be different, and it's probably not going to work. But I don't know. Maybe it would. Maybe that's what I need to do to Vince. Okay, so I go elbow to elbow, and I roll through, right? And now, you guys are asking, remember, there's got to be a clean switch here. My left arm is the one squeezing his neck right now. There's got to be a clean switch to my right arm grabbing his neck. But I can't get through because my own arms get in the way. So I have to essentially pull my left arm out so that I can pull my right arm in. Did you guys see how he just fell into it when I did that? When I was elbow to elbow, it wouldn't come through. But the moment I release with my left arm, that right arm comes through. And notice how I'm already in a ball and socket grip. If you don't know what a ball and socket grip means, you make a fist, and then you grab over that fist, that wrist. Okay, so I'm just using that ball and socket, and I'm pulling him into my rib cage. You could choke a guy right here, maybe, if you walked it in, try to finish him. Maybe you could get him, maybe not. Okay? But as far as the Kung Fu thing goes, I'm just going to take that ball and socket grip, and I'm just going to start circling it inward. Yeah. What did I say? Tai Chi? So yeah, I'm gonna take Wing Chun right here. Boom, I'm walking as I'm locking. And then same thing, I'm adding a rotational squeeze here. You see how he's tilting that right hip up? He's trying to anyway, so watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tilt his hip down. See, so I'm gonna rotate that squeeze downward. Okay? So, obviously guys, this is just like a little appetizer. Right, we don't have time to really get into it, but I hope that at least it sparks your interest in front headlock systems, because I think that it's crucial. They've saved me. You know what I mean? Like I recently competed at CJJ against Tom Galicio, and everybody kept telling me Tom Galicio came from a family of wrestlers. Like he wrestled ever since he was a kid, and he's been wrestling his whole life. So that's what I was up against, a really good wrestler. Well, I was able to pop him. I was able to snap him down into a front headlock. From the front headlock, I was able to work towards his back, and then I was able to secure or hold the back for the rest of the round. I ended up losing the match in overtime because I couldn't submit him in regulation. But the point of this is that I was able to take down a wrestler and take his back through the front headlock system, even as a non-wrestler. So this is extremely powerful. That's why I always tell guys, I go, you don't got to be good at wrestling, but if you're not going to be good at wrestling, get really, really good at anti-wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like jiu-jitsu, right? What's the first skill you learn in jiu-jitsu? Anti-jiu-jitsu. Like, oh, I don't know what he's doing, but I don't want to give him my arm. I don't know why he's grabbing my elbows, but I'm not going to give him that, right? Anti-jiu-jitsu, just like anti-whatever they want. So if you start taking that same mindset on the feet, that's the first skill you should get good at, is just stuffing double legs, stuffing single legs, stuffing takedowns. Just get good at anti-wrestling, pushing on their head, pushing on their shoulders. Then when you get a little cocky, a little comfortable, whatever, then you can start putting in your own offense, right? But it's super important, guys. Like I said, if you're not already grappling on the feet, you need to, because or else, I don't know, we'll become kung fu if we keep going like this. You know, like you guys got to get good at wrestling on the feet or getting the match to the ground. If you don't want to wrestle, I don't know, Imanari them and sweep them. I don't know, something cool, whatever. Thank you guys. That's all I got for you guys today. I will be here until Thursday. Tomorrow we're flying, oh, not flying, we're driving to El Paso, Texas. We're going to go do another seminar series over there.
Yeah.
But then I'll be back, God willing, and I'll be here till Thursday. If you guys want to continue training, maybe we'll talk about some other stuff. But like I said, hopefully this sparks your interest. I'm telling you guys, just like everyone's crazy about heel hooks and the back system and the I don't know, Kimura systems, and there's all kinds of stuff. It's like nobody's talking about the front head. And I think that it's a crucial skill to have. So you should be just as excited about it as you are about heel hooks, because even when you don't get the finish, guys roll over, that's an easy side control. Those are easy mounts. Those are easy sweeps, top positions. I mean, sweeps, you know, but you know what I mean? Like it usually ends in better places no matter what. The threat of the strangle will usually put you in a better place if you have good, if you make good choices. You know? And that is the hardest part. It's like we become better decision makers as we rank up, ideally is the thing. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys don't have anything for me, then we'll go ahead and move on to the next part, which is the promotions.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you again to all my to my fellow black belts who came out here to teach you guys today. And actually, let's have all the black belts over maybe on this side, and then we'll get everybody over on this side, Weez. How do we do it? Or you want the promotions right here?
I want the promotions in front of the logo.
Okay, I moved you guys didn't need to move. So we'll be over here, and all the black belts and stuff will be over here.
He's way too far.
Adrian Ness, Etho, Chewy, Tate Fletcher, are you here?
I've seen him. He said he's coming.
Should we wait for him then? Or should we go? You guys can have a seat too. No, you can be here, man. All right. So, do I have my bag of goodies? Do you have your bag of goodies?
And now I really changing back from my tasting comments down for giving my glasses as a disguise. Well, these are the amount that I don't like asking people about their glasses. Yeah.
Take this one.
All right, guys. So, promotions. It's weird in Nogi especially because, I mean, we don't wear gis, so like, what's the point of having belts at all, right? Like, if you're not gonna actually use it to keep your uniform together, what's the point? And so, you know, we basically remove the uniform aspect of it and we solely use it for rank. And because, to be honest with you, like, rank can be arbitrary a lot of times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you can really be that, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like, every one of you guys could go buy a black belt on Amazon right now, put it on your waist and be like, you guys ready? But if you can't back it up, it doesn't matter then, right? Like, and it's ever changing. You might be a killer black belt in 1992, and then by 2010, you're just like a blue belt at that point, because the sport continues to evolve and the sport continues to grow. So you have to keep getting better. You have to improve or you're going to get left behind, because even though we like to think that we've got jiu-jitsu figured out, we're not quite there yet. Like, there's still a lot of innovation happening, and we're getting to a point where it's starting to become more and more of a science as opposed to a lot more random, right? Like, you know, they call boxing the sweet science. They're like, we got that figured out. Boxing, we got it figured out. We know how to train for it. We know how to condition for it. We know all that stuff. Jiu-jitsu is still kind of like the Wild West. You go to a strength and conditioning coach and he goes, well, how long are your rounds? And you go, well, this tournament, there's 6 minutes, but the next tournament's going to be 10 minutes with possible overtime, and every overtime is a possible 2 minutes, and there's a possible 6 minutes of those. And so he's going like, how am I going to train? How are we going to train for this? You see what I mean? So like, jiu-jitsu is still very much the Wild West, but that doesn't really matter. What does matter, guys, is you guys have to constantly be improving. And this is why I think that the guys that are usually great at jiu-jitsu also do well in life, because they understand this concept, this growth mindset, this idea that we must always be growing, we must always be evolving. Okay? And when you understand that, when you understand that in the context of jiu-jitsu, this idea of always improving, always growing, and you start to apply that same process to your life, well, then your life gets better too. Does that make sense? And that's kind of how jiu-jitsu and your real life have this kind of symbiotic relationship a lot of times. They play off of each other. I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but I don't know. I'll let Nez correct me if he wants. But that's basically the idea anyways. So never focus on the color of your belt. It doesn't matter, I promise you. You know, you could be a killer white belt and it wouldn't matter. What does matter is that you're always looking to improve, okay? And I never, ever want to hear you guys tell your coaches that you feel like you're in a plateau. Because if you tell your coaches that you're in a plateau, it means you don't understand the process. Because there's always work to be done. If you're saying there's a plateau, I'm not getting better, like, you don't get it. Because there's always room to get better. Your double leg probably still sucks. You know what I mean? Like, your heel hook's probably not very good yet. Your back defense, your armbar defense. Do you have armbar defense? What's your armbar system to escape an armbar? You don't have one? See what I mean? And I just picked them at random, but it proves my point. It's just like, yeah, you might be good at all these things, but there's still a lot of work to chip away at. There's a lot of things. Even when you think you're done, it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff. You master grappling on the ground, you've still got to master grappling on the feet. It's a long road, guys. Like, I'm 10 years in, 11 years in. 11, we're all at 11 years in at this point. There's so much to learn. There's so much to add still. I'm still trying to tighten up my game. I'm still trying to improve. It feels literally never ending. So if you think you're going to get to a point where you're going to be like, oh, now I'm a purple belt, now I'm a brown belt, now I can relax, now I can retire, you're absolutely wrong. It doesn't work that way. And if you have that mindset, your coaches see that, they're going to be like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He's not trying. He's not trying to improve. Right? So that's what I look at. The other thing I look at, guys, is that a lot of schools, all they care about is how good you are at jiu-jitsu. I don't, because of what I just explained to you guys. It's actually a whole person thing. I'm looking at you as a person, as a whole person. And I believe that every time you rank up in belt, you also rank up in life. Because you should. Why not? You see what I mean? Like, you should be better. Your game should be tighter in life too. Not just in jiu-jitsu. Because if you're applying the process, if you're applying this beautiful lesson that jiu-jitsu teaches us, this growth mindset to the rest of your life, you're going to get better. Your life is going to get better. You're going to tighten up your game, right? You're not going to make the same mistakes anymore in life. That's what I mean. Like, jiu-jitsu and real life are very similar, okay? So focus on that. Focus on growth. Focus on self-improvement, and the belts will come to you as a side effect. They'll just come to you. You're just over here focused on getting better, and your coach is like, hey, dude, I want to give you a blue belt. And you're like, oh, damn, okay, thanks, coach. And then you go back, and you're just working on your stuff, and you're just working on getting better and getting better. And then he goes, dude, we need to give you a purple. And you're like, damn, really? And it's like, yeah, dude, you're just killing it. You see what I mean? You see how it works? But if you go to your coach and you go, coach, I'm in a plateau. I still can't tap Donnie, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? You got the wrong idea about it. It's about you. You got to get better. You got to improve your skill set. And sometimes that means you got to go outside of school too. Sometimes that means you got to go outside of your professor's teachings or your coach's teachings. You got to go outside of that. You got to go on YouTube. You got to take private lessons. You got to go to other gyms and train, whatever. Like sometimes you got to do strength and conditioning. That was a huge upgrade for my jiu-jitsu when I started doing strength and conditioning. It took my jiu-jitsu from like here to here. Just because I could move faster and I could hold position longer and I could do a lot of things, it was just a huge upgrade to my jiu-jitsu. So then if you get past that, then maybe your diet is the next thing you got to get on point. And then after your diet, and you see what I mean? You guys see what I'm saying? Like, there's always work to be done. There's so much to be done. So I never want to hear you guys talk about plateaus or how you're not getting better. If you're not getting better, find a way to get better, because I promise you, if I even just look at you, I could find things that you need to improve on, right? So it's like that. So anyways, guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our first promo tees. You know, obviously, I used to teach here. I used to be the guy here, but I'm no longer the man in charge anymore. Now it's Luis Castillo in my Lou, and Nate Harris, who has his own thing going on in Albuquerque, not even in any kind of affiliation with me, I guess, other than we're teammates and best friends and all of that, and we come from the same lineage. But anyways, Wheezy's over here running the show now. He's killing it. He's doing a great job. I'm super proud of both of them. I mean, just to even see this group here today is a testament to the work that they've been putting in. Wheezy, Nate, Brendan, Vince, DGB, Ferg. I mean, I'm not even going to name everyone because I know I'm going to miss someone because I don't, you know what I mean? But you guys get the point. Like, I'm super proud of you guys. I'm super proud of what this organization has become, 10th Planet New Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, this is beautiful. I'm super proud, and so I'll go ahead and, like I said, since I'm not the primary instructor, I can't give out these belts. These aren't my belts to give. These are Luis's belts to give. These are his babies. He's built these guys up. Okay, so Wheezy, where are you? Oh, dang. There you go, man. Luis Castillo.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you for help guiding Nate and I to this, by the way. Thank you. All right, so first person up. So this student started jiu-jitsu a little over a year ago and just went 100% in from the very beginning. No kind of, sort of, no maybe, no, I'm going to try a class two months later. I'm going to do 2 classes here. I'm going to quit for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to come back. A lot of you guys probably know of someone, maybe that was even you who did it. This person wasn't that. They went in 100%. They were here multiple times a week. And they bring in such a beautiful energy to the room when they step in through that door. And then before we were on the other side, right? And it's incredible. And this person has 2 gifts. The ability to learn a technique on the fly very quickly, like that. But then has very, this person also has physical gifts. They're mean. They're athletic. They're mean, a little feisty, and so I just want to bring the first person up right away, and that's Kendra. With Kendra as well, guys, this is kind of, in a way, a joint promotion. So Kendra was going back and forth, and so I'd like to call Nate up because she actually would train over the past year at both schools. Like I said, when you go in 100%, and how much effort are you putting forth into your jiu-jitsu, right? Like, Kendra would spend 2 days here, 2 days in Albuquerque. She would take the techniques from here, use them in Albuquerque, come over and, hey, coach, I pulled that off. Then she'd learn a bunch of techniques in Albuquerque and come and strangle us here. It was insane. It was really, really cool. So much so that, if you guys didn't know, Kendra actually competed at Fight to Win in, when was it? February. Okay? She was 6 months into jiu-jitsu. She took on a purple belt from another school. Okay? This is a white belt with 6 months of jiu-jitsu, taking on a purple belt in a professional jiu-jitsu promotion, right? Lights, camera, action, music, all of it, right? And took her to the distance and almost heel hooked her at the end, right? Had the whole place freaking out, right? And so it was super, super exciting to see that. Since then, she had a little hiatus. She was on vacation for a while and then came back and then right into it. Like, she never left 100%. And so same thing, going back and forth. She still trains in Albuquerque and still trains here, right? Depending on where she is at for that day, right? And so, Kendra, super proud of you and I. So,
you're doing great.
Funny thing about the belts, as I practiced a lot. Wait.
No, you got
it. No, I got you. So I practiced a lot because
it's hard to do it on someone else.
Yeah. But
it's still not right.
Yeah, it is. Come on now.
I'll help you.
No, I got it right this time. Did I not? Huh? Or is it behind the other? It's behind the cord.
Cut the cord,
Gotta let him be his own man.
There we
Figure
go.
his own things out.
Okay.
It is weird like that though, for reals. We just had a conversation like that, like on Thursday we were texting, and I literally told him that. I was like, okay, your house, your rules, you're your own man now. Wow, dude. Okay, we gotta keep going, all right? We got more promotions, dude.
There we go. I got it.
I was going to say all the same things Weezy said.
I'm just super thankful for Nate and Weezy and just Undisputed and Dark Haven Studios. Just super grateful for all of you, and just also Weezy for just being a great friend. Just always being there for me, willing, call him up any day, any time. I'm just super grateful for you, and you're a great human being in my life, and I'm just thankful.
Okay. Rubes.
Oh yeah, congratulations. Do you have anything to add? You can shake the other black belt's hands too.
Right down the line. And then we'll get
No, I think you hit it on the head. I was amazed when I saw her at Fight to Win. I was like, dude.
And then let's do.
And then she almost heel hooked that girl. It was crazy.
Nate.
We shouldn't have put her in that match, by the way. That was amazing.
but it was awesome to watch.
I had my trepidations. I was like, okay, all right. And then
We're like, wow, we really believe in ourselves here. 6 months of training.
Next one. Oh man, I've been waiting for this one for quite a while now, and it was just it was kind of a date thing. We were waiting for this tour to happen, and so this person it's pretty. One of the things that I admire most out of jiu-jitsu practitioners are the ones that they're really like. They break it down, okay, and then they're never really happy, right? Like Ruben said, you're always looking to improve, and this person is never satisfied. Comes in here, has a role, whether he taps someone or gets tapped, he always has a question, and then, the question gets answered whether by me, by Coach Vince, by Coach David, whoever it is, whoever he asks, and then comes back the next roll. Doesn't wait till the next day, and then does it to you, which is kind of like, really, dude? Like, you gonna do that? Okay, but it's great. Right? And has improved tremendously just within the last year. Is extremely coachable, which for me is very important, right? Whether like the results of matches or tournaments, like none of that is important. Like, are you learning? Do you love it? And are you coachable? And like Kendra before, they bring in an energy. And this person, oh man, it's just he brings a smile to the room every single time.
And so beautiful accent.
And he's very unique, say that, okay? And so, without further ado, I'm sorry because this person just bought some really cool gear, but Texan Panda, you're gonna have to. Funny thing about this, and I told Vince, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, and Panda comes in and he's rocking like brand new HQ gear. He's got like a full setup, guys, like 2 new rash guard shorts, like everything ranked. And I told Vince, I'm like, damn, that sucks.
You can sell them. There's a rash guard group on Facebook.
Let's try this.
Nah, I'm good. I keep.
Sandbagger.
Oh.
Like Adrian.
You're not gonna wear those.
Adrian still wears his brown belt rash shoes.
Dude, I saw him in the blue rash guard 2 nights ago. I'm like, oh, fuck, you can't wear blue when you're a black belt. That's too far. One belt down is understandable.
Okay. All right, Rubes, I might take some time. All right, fine. Hold on.
Next guy should put it on their neck.
No, I want to learn how to do this, dude. All right, hold on. There's one. It was easier. Yeah, it is easier on yourself. Yeah. It's just different because everything's inverted. Oh, see, it is behind. All right, whatever. Anyway, there it is.
There's so many cool people here, and it was so fun. I come here every day just to have fun because everyone's so cool. Everyone's shown. Weezy, he's such a great teacher. Vince is here every time, He's so smart. And then Ruben comes back. Nate, everybody, dude. It's such a trip. It's such a trip that like this is happening. But that's all I got.
Remember your first jiu-jitsu experience?
Came back and just kept on getting tabbed.
I remember.
No, I mean Texas.
Oh.
You gotta bring that up.
I'm just saying, like you've come a long way, dude.
I did.
I remember your first class of Undisputed.
Yeah, I moved here from Santa Fe, from East Texas. I'm from Texas, other side of Texas. But I came here first week here. I wrecked my car after Nate's class. But I came from a. I hate Nate, but I came from a small gym where we were learning jiu-jitsu off YouTube and stuff. So I came back. I had so many bad habits, and it's just funny how where we at now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know too, so at one point I thought I had good triangles. Nah, don't get triangles by this guy. He'll find them from everywhere too. And with them tree trunks for legs, you're gonna go to sleep. Right. Nice stand up.
Those were already kind of hard for me. I don't know. When Kendra was giving her speech, I started feeling I was gonna get teary-eyed. But these next ones are gonna get crazy. I guess I'll start. All four of these next promotions are really, really close to me. But let's start with Juan. Juan. How am I supposed to deal with this?
Oh.
It's a nice belt, though.
I wasn't ready for. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well, you know, I got
God damn,
grip.
you're strong. Credit to NorCal. Wait, what is it? You want to shout out to?
Body by Jake.
Body by Jake. There we go.
Are these Eager Ones belts?
No, that's your next endeavor.
He doesn't
bro.
do belts. No belts yet. This is awkward.
Are you gonna ask him to autograph it?
Juan, good thing you lost a few pounds turned up.
Dude, I almost got the wrong size.
He does it every time he's gonna come out here and see Ruben. He's like, he does it on purpose.
Yeah. It hasn't been easy for Juan. Like, he lives in Roswell. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Roswell. It's where the aliens crashed. Well, he's a different kind of alien, but that's besides the point. He did. He also crash landed in Roswell. That's it. That's for a different time. But he travels over here to train with these guys. How many hours do you have to drive? 3 hours.
One way.
One way.
Uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. Yeah, he makes a huge effort to train with 10 Planet Santa Fe, or just with 10 Planet in general, because they don't have 10 Planet in Roswell. At least, not yet. Yeah. But, man, this guy, he's just, I mean, for a guy who doesn't train with us, he's one of our most loyal, good, just all around good human too. Like, I'm proud to call him a friend. He's stayed with my family. He stayed with me in California. Like, just an overall great dude and killer competitor. Always competing, always looking to improve, always adding stuff, watching tutorials online, watching. You know, this guy's always trying to get better. And now he's just got to move to California. Congratulations, dude. Yeah, shake your hand and then you can say your words.
Oh, by the way, he's gonna cook a killer meal for you guys in a second.
He's also purple belt on the disco. I don't know if you guys know what that is. But the disco is like this metal bowl Yeah, it's like a big walk, exactly. Yeah, and he's gonna make you guys one of his specials. It has a lot of onion, but it's really good.
First of all, I want to thank all you guys for having me. Weezy, Vince, everybody here, DGB, everybody, Nez here. They pushed me to become better. Like, make sure that everything works. None of that fake shit. Everything that's gonna be a real world situation. And I'm really glad to have them as friends. Ruben has been a big part of like the change in my jiu-jitsu career since I've been up here, and I'm really happy. I'm really grateful for everything that I have, and I'll make sure to rep this out of honor. So,
You got a problem too.
Yeah, I do.
He's got, because they don't have 10th Planet in Roswell, so he has to train at Gracie Baja.
Yeah.
And he's a blue belt at Gracie Baja. But now he's a purple belt in 10th Planet, so he's got a problem he's got to figure out now.
I just gotta become a purple belt down there. That's the problem.
He's got to switch belts. When he's no-gi, he's purple. When he's gi, he's blue. Something like, I don't know. You got to figure it out.
I'll figure it out. This is took me by surprise. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. I'm really happy. Thank you, guys.
And Edgar has some purple belt rash guards that you can I'm just kidding. Where's Edgar? He's like, I do. Thank you guys. Yeah, dude. Congratulations. Congrats again. Huh?
Photo pa Vince.
Oh,
Get a photo
me
in
and
the
you?
center. Well, with Juan. You're the.
No, you and me.
He's telling you to take a picture for Vince's camera.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, Cali boy, you forgot your Spanish? Or
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll translate. Yeah, I got him.
Yo te enseño, no te preocupes.
So like I told you guys, always growing, always improving. It's not always easy for everybody. It's hard. Like you go, hey man, you got to always be growing and improving. You tell that to a guy who's got to drive 3 hours just to train. Like it's hard, right? It's not easy for him. Some guys, you guys got families. You got family. You got 3 kids. You got 4 kids. You got work. You got this. You got that. Like you ain't got time to get better at this. How are you gonna get better? You really only have 2 choices, right? Feel sorry for yourself and not get better, or figure it out. Like literally, that's it. You just got to figure it out, or stop, or not do it. I don't know. It's up to you. But for those of you guys who figure it out, I commend you guys. Like Juan, driving 3 hours. I know it's not easy, and like I said, we're looking at the whole person, and like I said, I want to see a change. I want to see you be a different man. From when you're a white belt to a blue belt, and then from blue belt to purple, I want to see that you're a different man in purple, or a different woman. You're changed, because jiu-jitsu changes you in a lot of ways. It humbles you. It allows you to have a higher respect for yourself. It does a lot of things. I don't want to go into it, but these things are important. These are the things I'm looking for. And one of the guys that has been here with us for a long time, struggling to get in here, his own personal struggles with his family, trying to figure it out, and that's my brother. I want to give him his purple belt. This was always my favorite brand for belts, so I don't know. I just liked the way they felt when I used to use the gi. Somebody was going to say that something. It's a lot of weight to carry.
That was dumb, Weezy. Look at that.
Dude, the sad part is I was practicing this morning too, and I had it, or at least I thought I did. Guess not. Pa me falta. I'm an emotional guy.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, really what all on my mind right now is I never thought I would get here, you know. This right now to me represents like a battle between myself over the years. And the reason I say that is because, you know, all those times that I didn't want to come to class, or I had an excuse, or I wanted to blame someone else, you know, it's all just me. You know, I think this is an individual journey, and don't expect others that don't, you know, walk these paths to understand what you're doing, because again, you know, they're not walking this path. They're not understanding your struggle. They literally don't understand your physical pain, which is like what it is. And it teaches us to be stronger, one, because we learn to recover from pain, and then we end up understanding and realizing that through pain, and we stay consistent and we stay firm, we stay focused, we actually come out stronger and winners. And so this is just like, you know, due to times in my life right now and situations, I had to really just stay in jiu-jitsu to keep my mind clear. And little did I know, you know, that by staying consistent and not making excuses and not blaming others, that, you know, this is what this brings. So thank you to Ruben, everyone in Santa Fe, everyone in Albuquerque, you know, just you guys coming in and training. You know, you guys always just make all of us better. And yeah, thank you.
One thing with Robin, and this will be like moving forward with promotions, is like earlier Ruben said, you know, I don't really, well, he cares about who you are in jiu-jitsu, but it's not everything, right? It's effort. How much effort are you putting forth? Okay? And you'll have those slumps. You'll have that time where you don't want to go to class. You'll have the week or the day or whatever it is, and you know what, they happen. This is meant to be a journey forever, right? It's okay for that to come up. But then also you kind of, we have a little saying, is that sometimes you got to fight your inner bitch, right? That's part of it, right? And so it's like, I know, he's like getting that nod. But like, that's something we all have to fight. We all have that every single day, right? And you have to force yourself. You have to go through the struggle and find a way. Figure it out. I just say, hey, figure it out, okay? Can't do it, figure it out.
It is, and like Rob said, it is a personal journey, because you can't expect people to understand it. Like, your boss might not understand why you need to get out exactly at 5 so you can make it to class at 5:30. Your wife might not understand why you need to make it to class that night. Your husband might understand. Your boyfriend might be like, why you always train with those guys every night? Like, you know, like, I'm serious. Like, these things happen. So it's like, not only is it physically hard to get in here, because you know it's going to be hard. You know you're going to get strangled. You know it's going to be hard on the body. Sometimes it's literally hard to just get in the door. There's all kinds of things preventing us from getting in the door. You know, so like I said, if you want to get better, figure it out. That's all there is to it. You got to make changes. You got to figure it out. There's no way around it. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you, and you'd be like, you know what? We're going to start a 3:15 class just for you so you can make it. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. Anyways, next promotion. Oh man, this one. Yeah, it's been, again, it's hard. It's hard sometimes, because like oftentimes we have these conversations about like, well, who's going to get promoted? Who do we want to promote? Who do we have in mind? And a lot of names get thrown in, you know. It's usually like, well, what about this guy? What about this girl? What about this? Da, da, da. We all have a conversation about it, and usually like there'll be like an agreement. Like 3 instructors will agree, and then 1 instructor will be like, nope, not from me. I wouldn't give it to him, or I wouldn't give it to her, for their reasons, right? And again, it's because we're looking at a whole picture.
We're looking at jiu-jitsu. We're looking at like your consistency. We're looking at if you come on time. We're looking at if you're coachable, if you're competing. Now these aren't all requirements. I'm not listing requirements, but we're looking at everything. We're looking at all of it. We sit down and we kind of try to glance over, not glance, but we try to look at all of it. Like, let's see all of it. Let's put it all on the table. Okay, there's this. How long has he been training? How many years? How much this? How much that? How consistent is he? Blah, blah, blah. And then we have a conversation about it, and we all decide together who we see fit. And so there's been a lot of debate over the years. This guy is super skilled. I know I can send him to any part in the world, and I know that he'll submit everybody but the instructor, and sometimes the instructor too. Like he's just that kind of guy. He's a killer, super talented, super proud to call him a friend, a great overall human being in general. Edward Paul McGovern Watch out, buddy. I'm going to wrap this around your papa.
No.
Don't worry. He's going to be okay.
He promised. He was one of the ones who disagreed.
Yeah, we asked him.
He got outvoted.
He said you had some work to do, and we were like, well, he's new to fatherhood. I was like, okay, fine. He can wear it. Right? The fourth? No? Congratulations.
Speech because I have this kid. I got to deal with him. But this place has been like a second home to me for 8 years, and everybody here's a brother or sister to me. I did not expect this at all, and yeah, just thank you guys for always being there for me.
Here's our future blue belt right here.
I love you guys. Thank you.
It doesn't necessarily spoil it right off the bat, but Jennifer, drum belt.
What?
Woo! I wouldn't be able to say anything without her knowing who I was talking about. So I had to just do it and then do the speech second. You're a lot smaller than I thought you were. I got the wrong size apparently. Well, it's not bad. Damn. Obviously, she's my wife, and it's always weird. It's always hard, like when you promote your family, because you want to make sure that it's not like political or anything like that. But Jennifer, when I first met Jennifer, she was training with Eddie Bravo himself, and she is a purple belt under Eddie Bravo, and So she spent many years training in HQ under the direct tutelage of Eddie himself. And then when we met and we started dating and all of that, she was a purple belt throughout the entire time we were dating. And then you know, we have our baby now, and she went through her pregnancy. She semi-trained the first few months as much as she could. She was so worried about losing her skills and losing her strength and losing, because you got to understand, like, Jennifer was a competitor, like a female, like a true female competitor. You know, a lot of people do jiu-jitsu, but not everybody competes, right? It's different. And so Jennifer, when I met her, she was a competitor. I like to compete. I consider myself a competitor, so it was like a great bond that we could kind of like encourage each other to keep competing and keep doing it. And it's been really hard for her, obviously, you know, postpartum, having the baby. She's had a lot of uphill struggles, but what's crazy is not only has she been able to maintain her skill, she's actually improved dramatically since since she started training with me. And that's not necessarily a testament to me, it's a testament to her, that she's one of those people that you can teach something one time to, and she'll immediately implement it in her game. And so, you know, I texted Eddie this week and I asked him, and he gave us his blessing. So, I mean, I don't know those of you guys who've rolled with her, but I have this joke that she heel hooks everybody at least one time. It doesn't matter whether you're white to black. You know, I've seen her heel hook men that have 100 pounds on her. I've seen her heel hook girls at every rank, every belt, white, blue, purple, brown, black. Nobody is safe. Nobody's heels are safe with Jennifer. At least one time, right? Everybody's probably got a story about how she heel hooked them if you've rolled with her. She's really just good. But not only that, so this is the thing, right? This is how I coach people. When I got her, I was like, we need to add more. Like, you're good, but you need to be better. You need to get better. And so I was like, we got to start moving away from the heel hook, not because it's not good. I think it's an absolute beautiful skill that you have, but we need more. We need guard passing, and we need top game. We need, you know what I mean? Like, we need a lot of other stuff. And she took my advice and ran with it, and she's trained with a lot of her old teammates, you know, girls who have continued to compete even throughout her pregnancy and all that. She felt like she was going to come back and all her old teammates were just going to smoke her, because her old teammates are black belts now, brown belts, and it was actually the opposite. She smoked all her old teammates. So we can't really deny it. We can't deny it. I can't deny her brown belt, you know. And it's different for women, right? As men, you guys are probably like, I don't know, I feel like I could tap her or whatever. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? You're talking about a 130-pound girl, but she still heel hooks dudes all the time anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I'm telling you guys. It's been crazy to watch her talent, and I'm super proud. Not only to call her my student, but my wife and the mother of my child.
Wow. So unexpected. Honestly, I didn't expect it at all. I don't know what to say. This means so much to me. It means so much hard work, dedication, and just sticking to the whole process, the whole journey, no matter how hard it gets, you know? Like, when I was pregnant, I was worried, like he said, that I was gonna lose my skill. I would watch everyone roll and just think like, man, you know, I'm just gonna lose it all, and maybe jiu-jitsu is not for me anymore. Honestly, I had that thought, you know, of thinking like, I'm just gonna leave this behind and focus on being a mother. But it's important to just stick to what you love too, even if you have children, because it makes you a better parent. And being a mother has made me grow in so many ways I couldn't even ever imagine. And I just made it work. You know, I even did competitions, breastfeeding in between, and I'm still breastfeeding my daughter and taking care of her. And I just want to be the example for her. I want her to know what we went through and just build something for her and set the example, and that's it. And it took a lot of hard work to get here, but I'm so proud, and I'm so proud to have these people behind me, my husband and you guys here in Santa Fe, and it just means so much. And if you're just starting, or if you're in a stage where like he said, you feel kind of stuck, or you have a hard time, like you're only training once a week or something, just keep doing it. Just keep going. Because if I can make it with my daughter, like I try to get in as much training as I can. And me and Ruben are like only parents. We don't have a lot of help in California. We just make it work. And so just stick to it, you guys. It's a long journey, and it's very rewarding. So
what she's saying is, if you don't have kids, you don't have an excuse. All right, so for this one, I want a picture with you, and then I want the baby, and then I want my parents too, and Robert. We'll do a family. All right, bring this our baby. Bring in the baby. Robert. Yeah. Dad, come here too. By the way, these are my parents. They're a huge part of who I am as a person. My dad, my mom.
One, two,
So, this is your future killer right here. Yeah. Watch out, you guys.
I think that concludes it. That concludes our promotions for today. I think like the overall thing here, like I told you guys, is like sometimes we just got to figure it out. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your wife, whether it's your job, whether it's your situation, you don't got money. Like there's always a way. I promise you guys, there's always a way. There was a time where I was cleaning the bathrooms at the gym to pay for my membership. Started at the bottom, now we're here. You know what I mean? But like, you got to do what it takes. You got to do whatever it takes. If you don't got money, clean the toilets. Seriously. Like, there are no excuses. There's always a way to train. These guys, all these instructors, Nez, Quito, Chewy, Nate, Wheezy, they all have the biggest hearts, if you guys don't already know that, right? Those of you guys who train with them, you guys know that? You guys were just like, man, I got big hearts, these guys. They'll give you whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I promise you guys that if they see a guy who is committed and wants to train, they're never going to turn you away. You know what I mean? So you got to figure it out. You got to just train. You got to just train. I promise you that it'll be worth it. 10 years are going to go by past anyways. 10 years are going to go by like nothing. And you'll be like, holy crap, that was fast. I'm 30 already? You know what I mean? It's going to pass. Or I'm 40, or I'm 50, whatever. It's just an example. Sorry, man. Don't mean to make you shrug your shoulders. But the point is that time's going to go by. You may as well be chipping away at something greater. And I think this is great. I think jiu-jitsu is a lot greater than we give it credit for. I think that it takes good people and makes them better. I really do. I really do. Through the lessons that you learn, I do think that we get better through this process of jiu-jitsu. It's not jiu-jitsu that makes us better. It's the process. It's the struggle. The struggle is what makes you better. Not the arm bars, not the heel hooks, not the rear naked chokes. That stuff, whatever, it's cool. You should get good at that. But it's the process, it's the struggle, it's the fight that hardens you, that makes you tougher, that makes you braver, that makes you more courageous, that makes you more humble, that makes you stronger, that makes you faster, makes you more powerful, it gives you more confidence. Like, man, it's the fight, it's the process that gets us better. So
keep going. Don't quit. Yeah. Thank you guys for not only being here, for being a part of this. Let's go ahead and have some fun now. So we're gonna break off and have some food now. There's some food. We had a little potluck, but we're gonna have some steaks on the grill and some disco and all of that. And then we got open mat. We're gonna do some super fights, probably on both mats. It's time to have fun now, guys. Thank you.
Before everyone breaks off and starts leaving, let's get everybody on this side, in front of the logo for a big picture.
Wait. Promotees first. We got to get a picture with all the promotees first.
Okay. I was gonna get. All right. Yeah, what to do with that?
All right. Let me get all the people who got promoted today over here. Take a picture with the coaches.